Good Monday afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Science with Lava Shark. I know we did a live version of this, but this is the video version of the Tornado Lab. So to begin, what is a tornado? And how does it form? So a tornado is a violent rotating column of air in contact with their surface. It's in contact with the ground. And the word tornado refers to the wind vortex, not the cloud constellation. It must be in direct contact with the cloud base and ground in order for it to become a tornado. A tornado can form over water and land. And then a tornado forms when the air inside a thunderstorm, that's an updraft, then it combines with the ingredients that are instability. Warm, moist air that is near the ground with the cool, dry air aloft. Plus wind shear, that is sudden change in wind speed or its direction with height. It will greatly increase the strength of updraft that was created by an unstable air mass. It then produces the rotation form in which tornadoes are then produced. The updraft then tilts the rotating air from horizontal to vertical. The air masses then create instability in the atmosphere. A very interesting fact about a tornado, it can also form from a supercell thunderstorm. So what is a supercell? So a supercell is a common type of thunderstorm. It has high potential to produce violent storms like a severe thunderstorm or even a tornado. They are more common in the central part of the United States. It's also a very tall cloud that spreads as far east and are even more common in the May or June months. So then how does a supercell develop? A supercell then develops when a strong wind then all of a sudden changes direction from the surface to aloft, the moisture lift and the instability. And the updrafts rise in these shifting winds. Another interesting thing about supercell is the updraft and downdraft can move into a different position where they can feed and vent the thunderstorm. But a spinning updraft is the main key in forming of supercell thunderstorms and even a tornado. Even a spinning updraft column of air can spin from wind shear. Winds at ground level, a tornado can form from supercell. And there's a tornado formation diagram. Pretty cool. So what do you call a tornado that forms over bodies of water that include lakes, rivers, and even the ocean? You would call those water spouts. So what is a water spout? Well, a water spout is a tornado that could form over water. They even occur in the late spring to early fall. They are even joined by very high winds and seas, along with large hail and lightning. So what is the U.S. capital of the world for water spouts? The U.S. capital of the world in the world for the water spouts is Florida. A water spout forms by forming along a line of cumulus clouds, even severe thunderstorms. So now, who is Dr. Ted Fujita and what did he do to research tornadoes? Dr. Ted Fujita, a Japanese-born American meteorologist, created the Fujita scale, aka F scale. This scale was then to estimate the tornado's intensity of damage on buildings and vegetation. He even introduced the concepts of thunderstorm structure that include the terms such as the words like wall cloud and tail cloud that are used today. Nowadays, we use the enhanced Fujita scale. It became effective February 1st, 2007. It was then developed by wind engineers and renewed meteorologists. It really made new improvements to the scale. The F scale lacked damage indicators, while the EF scale includes more than 28 damage indicators, such as building type and structures. And there are a total of 8 degrees of damage. And that would range from visible damage to complete total destruction. So, let's demonstrate, guys. Let's see. So, in EF0, the winds will clock in at 65 to 85 miles an hour, so very light damage. Okay, so EF1. The winds can clock in at 86 to 110 miles per hour. So that is EF1, EF0. Here's EF2. EF2, the winds usually clock in at 111 to 135 miles per hour. Severe damage. And then the EF1 was moderate damage. And then EF3, the winds clock in at 136 to 165 miles an hour. Very severe damage. So here's the EF4. Those winds clock in 166 to 200 miles per hour. Very devastating damage. And here is the EF5. Winds clock in over 200 miles per hour. Incredible damage. So this scale measures the intensity of tornado damage. So if you happen to be in the path of a tornado, go to a storm cellar, go to a basement, and stay there until the storm dissipates, until it's gone. And if you're in the storm cellar, and if there's any windows, stay away from windows, because tornadoes are known to throw debris that can fly through the window, so you gotta be really careful. Let's see. You know, an EF5 tornado is so strong, it can tear a house off its foundation. That's how strong an EF5 is. So when was the term Tornado Alley first used? It was first used by a pair of Air Force meteorologists by the names of Major Ernest J. Fawbush and Captain Robert C. Miller as a title for the research project to study severe weather in the parts of Texas and Oklahoma in 1952. Tornado Alley refers to the high tornado currents in the central U.S., and those states would include Oklahoma, Tennessee, Missouri, Alabama, Kansas, Texas, even the Dakotas, North and South Dakota. You know, there was a tornado in Yellowstone that happened on my birthday of 1987 that leveled a 10,000-foot mountain. So what do you call the middle of a tornado? What do you call the middle of a tornado? The core. And the core of the tornado is the main rotating part. It's identified by the low pressure and the highest wind speeds. The core is the main dangerous part of a tornado, and it's also where the most damage occurs. It is basically the heart of the tornado, and it even has high damage potential, and it's not always visible. So now then, what do you call a person that pursues severe weather like a tornado? Well, for starters, we call that person a storm chaser. Storm chasing can be for adventure, curiosity, scientific investigations. It can be for any news or media coverage. The biggest ever goal for some storm chasers is to see a tornado. An interesting fact that the first person to ever do storm chasing was a man by the name of David Hundley, who had started to chase storms in North Dakota in 1956 and was even greatly considered the pioneer of storm chasing. And then also a man by the name of Neil B. Ward did research of storm chasing in the 1950s and 60s with the help of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. His research improved modern-day storm tracking. And then in 1972, the University of Oklahoma, in part with the National Severe Storms Laboratory, then began the very first tornado intercept project. Even storm chasers try to intercept tropical storms, waterspouts, blizzards, and many other severe weather. Storm chasers are still trying to figure out how tornadoes really work and get brand new warning systems in place to save lives. In the movie Twister, for example, the storm chasers played by Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton designed a tornado instrument pack for tornado research named Dorothy. Dorothy was loaded with sensors, and once released into the tornado, they would measure the wind speed, tornado structure, temperature, and once they got that data and info, they could increase warning time. More time for people to get to safety and save more lives. And there's other tornado movies I recommend you watching if you're want to learn more about storm chasing. I would recommend watching Supercell here. I would recommend watching that. It has Anne Heche in it. It's a great movie. I would recommend Twisters. I'd recommend that. One of my favorites. And then I would watch Twister. That's a great one. This was my first inspiration to be a storm chaser. Twister was my first inspiration to become one. And I love Twisters too. I love Supercell as well. So, Night of the Twisters I would also recommend. That's a great movie too. It had John Snyder. It was based off the tornado outbreak of June 3rd, 1980 in the town of Green Island, Nebraska, that had produced 7 tornadoes in one day. So now, what is a tornado outbreak? Well, a tornado outbreak is the more occurrence of many tornadoes formed by the same weather system. The required number of tornadoes for an outbreak is usually 6 to 10, with at least 2 supercells that then can create many tornadoes. In fact, the biggest tornado outbreak on record in the United States was the 2011 super outbreak with a total of 362 tornadoes that year. Wow, that's a lot. In the year 1974, 148 total tornadoes had been produced. This is known as the 1974 super outbreak. Also, a tornado outbreak sequence is at times then referred to a extended tornado outbreak. So here's the tornado formula. So you get that warm, moist air, cooler, dry air. That then creates instability and wind shear that leads to a strong updraft rotation. You get a tornado. So there are times that a tornado can become one or more, aka the tornadoes can become twins. Like in Twisters, we got twins! It's also known as twin tornadoes. This is also phenomenon better known as the Fajwada effect. The Fajwada effect is when two tornadoes spin in the same exact direction to then pass close enough to one another. Two tornadoes are closer in ring strength that can pull toward each other until they reach a point, and then they merge. And when they combine, it results into a megastorm instead of two separate ones. So what is a funnel cloud? So a tornado can form from a funnel cloud too. A funnel cloud is a cloud that is funnel shaped. It is usually visible, that is normally shaped like a cone or a needle. These clouds usually form with the association with supercells, thunderstorms. Even a visual precursor to a tornado. So then if a funnel cloud touches the surface, it is considered a tornado. They can even result from the low pressure within a tornado too. Wow. Even a tornado can contain several or more tornadoes, aka multiple vortexes. And this phenomenon is even called multiple vortex, or it's also known as multi-vortex tornado. The only time this can be visible is when the tornado is then first forming or when concentration and debris are balanced. It is similar to a satellite tornado. This can even over 100 miles per hour to ground wind and a tornado circulation. Rare occasions, they may show their strength through the rare method called horizontal vortices. Then results in multiple tornadoes appearing to bend. It can even cause severe destruction also. Even a multi-vortex is even known as tornado families. Even occurs in dust devils as well. And a dust devil is like a dust tornado. And another interesting fact is they can even occur in outer space. But they are more powerful than the ones on Earth. These are known as space tornadoes. A space tornado is even formed by plasma mixing with the magnetic fields, while the ones on Earth form within the atmosphere by thunderstorms. Even inside its funnel, they can even form strong electric winds. So a space tornado is a solar windstorm. You know, even tornadoes even form on the sun. I've seen that on a show called Weather Gone Viral. I recommend watching that show too. I'll recommend it. That's a great show too. And they even occur on the sun and other planets. They may also be responsible for the aurora phenomenon, these space tornadoes. In conclusion, guys, tornadoes are very interesting to look at, but from a very safe distance. They're even part of Mother Nature, like hurricanes and thunderstorms and others. And special thanks to these websites. A pretty cool works cited page. Special thanks. And thank you all for watching. You guys have a beautiful day or night wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Bye. On forever, guys. Bye.